said he was sick. Good evening and welcome to the North Rose-Wolcott Central School Board of Education meeting. We begin tonight with approval of with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First order of business is to approve tonight's agenda. Motion, please. Linda and Casey. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda? Motion is carried. Tonight we begin with the budget hearing, and I will turn the meeting over to our Director of Business Operations and Finance, Mr. de Blasi, and our Superintendent, Mr. Pullen.
All right. I'd like to thank the board for your patience because you've seen all these slides before at one time or another. We're just bringing them back to remind you. Same for Marcus. He's already seen a lot of this too, so might get a little boring. But we're required by law to do the budget hearing. We're not here to tell people to vote yes. We're not here to tell people to vote no. But our goal is to get an informed audience and informed constituents that will vote on the budget. Our budget guidelines. The budget shall be aligned with the Board of Education. Oh, is this the, I want to make sure this is the right. Nope, this isn't it. No.
Sorry.
I've looked at this a couple of times. I didn't know, I noticed it on the first slide. There's two that speak final. Try. That's not it. Oh, there's a. Is that it? No. Should I go send my email? See.
Jeremy, it's this one here. It was there, his budget came. Not in the right place? Oh.
Well, one of them came up. It was definitely in a place that worked. That's not it. You're okay.
There's a problem with this drive.
Oh, because we unplugged it maybe when it was active. I can log in if we need to.
Did it just, it's opening this one, yeah?
That's what I had before.
Is it one of those?
Oh, I clicked the other one.
Yeah. All right. Look at that. Thank you, Jeremy. Don't trip. Don't unplug anything. Not budget hearing. Okay, we're back on schedule. Thank you, everybody. What now then? There we go. Budget goals. Do what's best for our students now and into the future and be fiscally responsible in the process. And we've talked about this. You got to balance current needs with future needs. Where boards or administration can make mistakes if they worry just solely on the here and now, and then you're pushing your problems out farther. So you've got to combine and take both those situations into consideration. We want to minimize the budget-to-budget increase, stay within the tax cap, maintain programming, maintain our bus replacement schedule, and continue capital outlay projects. Unique challenges. We've talked about this. A lot of the grant money that this district has been getting over the years is going away. And that not only impacts our grants, but it impacts the general fund that sometimes needs to absorb those costs to keep things going or keep programs going. So that really hurts us, and that's just the beginning, because we know that other grants are drying up. In the meantime, we keep applying for more, but we're not sure where the federal government's going to be at the time these grants are made available, so we're not sure what the award allotments will be, especially for high-need rural districts. Here's some of the programs negatively impacted by the reduction in grants. School resource officer, we kept our school resource officer in our general fund budget, but we lost the allocation in our grant. Many other programs and positions will be affected. Where we started. Maintenance-based budget, $39,924, with our revenue projection number 1, assuming no increase in state aid or tax levy, gave us a shortfall of $1.9 million. A shortfall of that magnitude is difficult, especially for a small district. So this was a big challenge for the board to take on. There's only a couple of ways to address a shortfall. You have to decrease your spending or increase your revenues. And to increase your revenue, state aid, which we hope about, no control over. Other sources grants, which we apply for, but no control over. And of course, tax levy. This year, our tax levy cap came out to 3.37%, or $388,500. And the board has elected to go to the tax cap limit. If we were to go over that and address the shortfall on completion, we would require a majority vote to move forward. And also, it doesn't make the taxpayers very happy. So we stayed at the cap, which is legalized, authorized by the state of New York. What does 3.37 mean to the average North Rose-Wolcott homeowner? For a home valued at $50,000, you're looking at an estimated tax change of $6.60 for the year. And for a home estimated at $100,000, we're looking at $23.10 increase for the upcoming school year. So our revenue projection number 2, okay, we're looking at how do we increase revenues. We have 2 assumptions here. One, we're going to assume that the state is going to increase our foundation aid to 2%. That gives us an additional $151,000. The original governor's proposal was at 1%. When you're talking about a high-need rural district where 60% of our revenue comes from the state, when they tell you they're going to give you another $150,000 on a $39 million budget, that's not helping enough. It certainly doesn't hurt, but it's not doing what we need. And our second increase to the revenue projection number 2 is the 3.37 in the tax increase, which will give you another $388,500. So balancing the budget, I rounded to make it simple math for me. We've got $38,510,000 in revenue. We've got a maintenance-based budget of $39,924. As you can see, we're way out of balance. Our revenues do not meet our expenditures. So now we have to look at the other side of the formula, which is we have to reduce expenditures. There's our shortfall. Proposed reductions. 2 administrative positions, 4 teaching positions, 4 support staff, savings from known retirements, for a total of budget reductions of $844,000. And we've talked about this. This is putting, the work's not going to reduce, right? And what needs to happen next year is not going to reduce. It's just putting it on fewer people. So we're demanding more, and we're getting less from the state. It's an unfair formula, but we're not alone. If you look around the state, I'm thinking I've heard more stories of budget problems and budget reduction and staff reductions than I probably have in a really long time, but I'm hearing them more than I'm hearing of good stories. The good stories come from districts that don't rely so much on the state. Wealthy districts, right? They're not worried about how much aid they're getting because most of their levy, or most of their taxes pay for their budget. It's important to note, this plan is subject to change depending on these information. Do we get more state aid or do we get less? Do we get retirements, resignations, etc.? So this is fluid. We have a plan in place, but if things change, we will adjust that plan. So our shortfall is 1.4, less those reductions, gives us a remaining shortfall of 570,000. Well, what are we going to do now? The remaining shortfall to be addressed through use of fund balance. And because of wise decisions this board has made in previous boards and administrations, we have that ability to do that. Because our budget does fund our operations, but you also need to fund your savings. Just like a home, the best budget is one that will produce some savings at the end of the year and one that continues to operate. We're not always in that position. We don't always have savings, but the goal is to have some savings. And through our use of reserves and fund balance, this district has accumulated the required savings to get us through these bad times, just like a savings account. So our proposed budget less reduction, or our maintenance-based budget less reductions, gives us a new proposed budget amount of $39,080,000. And we'll run through what that comprises of. So there as we go. We're balanced, and that's the goal. Here's the major categories laid out: general support instruction, pupil transportation, and a big one that everybody's got to look at is employee benefits. The cost of health insurance continues to rise, and we'll see that in later charts. As a big pie, everybody knows my affinity to pie, so I like to show these. Kind of shows what you want to see, right? Your instruction is the biggest piece of the pie. And if you look, the second biggest piece of the pie is employee benefits. Well, why is that? We're a people-driven business. This is mostly people and buildings, right? We're not producing anything besides hopefully great graduates. General support categories: Board of Education, Central Administration, Central Services, which includes, operations and maintenance, and a lot of expense goes into there. Staffing, finance, and special items. General support budget. In a nutshell, not much changing. Some staffing costs, again, due to our budget reductions. Excuse me. And I always get questioned, Board of Education, why is it so high? Everything's, we clearly don't pay our Board of Education. Although I think you all should make a grand, handsome salary. It doesn't happen. There's costs in there. We have to put costs in certain cost centers, and unfortunately the Board of Education is one of those, and that will include, most of that is made up of BOE services. And we use BOCES for our policy updates, and for our board docs, so that our board of policies can be put online and accessible. General support, again, another pie. Just shows you central services is the majority of that pie. Instructional budget, things that you would assume are in there: building administrators, staff, BOCES services. general education, special education, occupational education, special schools, instructional media, and pupil services. The last two categories have certainly grown a lot in my career, right? When I first got in, not so much in technology, and especially in most recent years, not so much in the pupil services has really increased. Like, I think when I started, an elementary school had one counselor. Those days have passed. Now there's other additional supports. Instructional budget, standard increases. The admin going up a little more because of those grant reductions. Some staff that were in grants have been pushed to the general fund. At the bottom, pupil services going down because of anticipated retirement, part of our savings that we expect. And the instructional budget in a pie, again, gives you a better visualization of what's happening here. Regular ed instruction and special ed instruction are very close. District spends a lot on both. Transportation budget, nothing exciting happening. Although costs continue to go up, costs for our buses, costs for our parts, costs for our fuel. Just like home, we're all seeing it right now. Community services, various programs, swimming, is a very small part of the budget. Slight reduction due to historical expense data. Benefits, here's the other giant piece of the puzzle. And we're able to go down in a few. Not what I like to do, because you never know. But these were, the rates for the retirement systems were reduced a little bit. And due to our staffing reductions, the Social Security cost should be a little less. And that's a pie chart of the benefits. And again, medical and dental certainly takes up a majority. Debt service budget. Debt incurred to finance our capital projects. Expenses offset by state building aid. So although we see a large increase, this increase is offset by an anticipated increase in building aid. And if we don't have this increase in debt service next year due to market conditions, then we don't get the same amount in aid. So it's basically we get what we spend. Interfund transfer, this is to cover non-aided portions of summer school special ed and $100,000 for our capital outlay. This again, what's great about the capital outlay is you spend $100,000 this year, you immediately get your aid back next year. It's up over to 80%.
So just to jump in, the outlay for the elementary auditorium, part of the 25-26, the 26-27 will be the high school instrumental and vocal rooms.
Oh yeah, thank you.
So that's a piece where this is current year. Next year it'll be the instrumental and vocal rooms at the high school. And we always tell people, you know, as sad as it sounds, with respect to renovating those two rooms, what we get for $100,000, once you take out design fees, architect, and then certain prevailing wage benefits, you know, we don't get as far as we'd like. So it'll be a multi-year plan with the instrumental and a vocal music room as well.
And I'll make sure for the budget presentation I post that I'll add that. I'll put 26 on here and 27 will be the high school music rooms. Oops. Same amounts as last year. Because you never know, the transfer to special aid, you never know what it's going to be. It all depends on utilization during the summer. So there's a pie chart again of the proposed budget with percentages and dollar amounts. Instruction is the big portion, and the second biggest portion is employee benefits. By law, we're required to present the budget as a three-part. And what this does is it reflects taking that giant employee benefits portion and spreading it through the other categories so that you have a more precise or more accurate depiction of what you're spending in these categories. Educational program speaks for itself and includes transportation. Capital is all the building costs and maintenance costs, and of course administrative, which is the remaining part. What you like to see, 70% is educational program, right? That's where you want it going. Good, again, depiction. Show it as a pie chart. You really can see it immediately what's happening. School board elections are also in this year's docket. We've got to elect 2 board members. One term begins July 1st to succeed incumbent Linda Eigner, and one term begins the day after the vote. Hate to see Cassie go, but they'll be to replace her, as she was appointed just to fill out the term until the next election. Candidates on the ballot: Nicole Smith, Linda Egnar, and Wade Kiffin, I'm sorry. On the ballot, to approve the budget for the total amount. Proposition number 2 is actually, we're looking to we have aging small buses. These are 35 passenger buses, but they're built like a full-size bus, just shorter. We like them. They're durable. They're safe. They're, like I said, a full-size bus, just shorter chassis. So we're going to go with 3 of those and 2 of the full-size 64 passengers, not to exceed $925,000. It will not be that much, but that we have to estimate in case trade-ins or anything else goes awry at the end of the deal. And annual library propositions. Again, we don't have anything to do with the library proposition. We merely are here for people to vote on it. Then we collect the tax levy on their behalf and we submit it directly to the libraries. Vote May 19th, North Rose-Wolcott High School, 12 to 8 p.m. And that's it. I hope I didn't surprise you with anything.
So at this time, because it's a hearing, if there are any questions, we'll gladly take any questions from the board or from the audience.
Any questions, Steve?
I don't see any questions. We're going to bring the hearing to a close. Thank you, Mr. de Blasi.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
We doing the meet the candidates next, or do you want?
We'll do the meaningful change later. We'll
Okay.
meet the candidates and then get the 8th graders so they can do it. They
Okay.
can present that in the discussion.
So at this point, we're going to do a meet the candidate. Each candidate will be allowed 5 minutes to introduce themselves. Nicole Smith could not be here, but I do have a presentation from her. Well, I did have.
It's right above
I can't see from this angle. Oh, there it is right there.
Dear NRW community, I apologize I cannot be at the meeting tonight. My husband and I are away for a previously planned vacation. I wanted to share why I've decided to run for school board. I am very passionate about our community, and I am looking to find a way to be more of a positive influence. My experience volunteering as a coach at our local church and in the schools has encouraged me to seek this new role where I could continue to promote improvement. Both of our children are still in school, one in the elementary school and one in the middle school, so I have a parental perspective on some of the strengths and weaknesses within our district. With my background as a nurse, I am a strong advocate and feel that I would be able to bridge the gap between the community and the board to ensure concerns are heard and addressed at the school board level. I also have a strong background in mental health and developmental disabilities and would bring that experience to ensure that our students are receiving the education that they deserve and are entitled to. The success of the students in our district has a strong positive impact on our community, and I would love to see our region continue to grow and become a place of choice to raise a family. I believe it is possible if we all come together and work to find solutions that will benefit the students, staff, and local community. Thank you for your consideration, and I would appreciate your vote. It would be an honor to serve with the existing board members and leadership team to build on previous successes.
Next, we will hear from Linda Agner.
Good evening. This is my 11th year on the North Rose-Wolcott board. Let me turn it up because I'm a soft speaker, I know. This is my 11th year on the North Rose-Wolcott School Board, and I guess I'm going to say it's like being a parent. There's challenges, but there's great rewards. You get to see progress. You get to see education here and elsewhere as a game changer for our students and for our families. I'm also currently serving on the Wayne Finger Lake School Board, which I enjoy for different reasons because they offer different opportunities for students. And I have to say I really enjoy being in a group of people that are forward thinking because our students are our future. And I'm not going to use the 5 minutes because I've kind of said why I'm here and what I enjoy about it. And I know it's not easy. There's challenges, but as I said, there's also rewards. So I hope you consider voting for me.
Thank you, Linda. Next, we're going to hear from Wade Niffen.
Let me start off by apologizing for my late arrival. I had just come from work in Savannah, so getting here was a little bit tight. My name is Wade Niffen. I live in downtown Rose, New York. I also serve on the zoning board in the town of Rose. A few years ago, I saw some things I wanted to know information about. I wanted to see if I could affect change, help change, listening to the community, so I got involved in the zoning board. One of the people who were on the town board, I did run for town board at one time, got denied. But Scott Converse says, you know, somebody with your personality, your open thinking and experience might be good on the school board if you ever would consider it. Albeit I had entered a little bit late because I didn't see the ad in the paper until almost the deadline, but we got it done, we're here. I hope to be somebody that the community can reach out to and talk to about issues, problems, be a way of forward thinking and driven by the community. I don't have a whole lot of experience and I see a lot of faces I'm unfamiliar with, but given the chance, I'd like to change that. It was a bit strange to have people walk up to me in the past couple of weeks and say, oh, I see you're running for school board. I have no idea who they are. Again, I want to change that. It's a good feeling to be in a community that you are a part of and that you can facilitate some change in. So given the chance, I'm here to listen, work with the current board, and we'll see what we can do. Thank you for your time.
That concludes our Meet the Candidates. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tina. We come back to our agenda now. And we do have a presentation tonight, and Mr. Pullen, I'll turn it over to you to make that introduction.
Sure, thank you. So Mrs. Yarns and Mrs. Bogard are here with some of our fabulous students that are going to present something to the Board of Education that I know the middle school community has been asking for the last few years. So these young ladies are excited to be with us tonight, and they're going to present a proposal to the Board of Education. So for the Board of Education in our community, I just say tonight is a night to hear the proposal, to ask questions. We won't vote on the proposal until the second meeting of the month. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I think that the board has seen some of the information on the proposal, and these ladies will do a wonderful job presenting to you. So go ahead, Mrs. Yarns.
Thank you.
to arrive at school for loading at 7:30 a.m., spacious and comfortable, certified driver, bathroom, TV.
We would be able to explore the Smithsonian Museums, dinner at Hard Rock Cafe, guided tour of national monuments, arrive and check in a hotel, late night security provided.
Day 2, Washington, D.C. Breakfast at hotel, opportunity for pictures outside of the White House.
Souvenir shopping, lunch at the Pentagon Fashion Food Mall Food Court, Pentagon 9/11 Memorial.
Pentagon tour, dinner and show at medieval times, arrive back to hotel, late night security provided.
Day 3, Washington, D.C. and arrive back. Breakfast at the hotel, check out and depart hotel.
Guided walking tour of Arlington National Cemetery, self-guided visit of National Zoo, and lunch.
Depart for home, dinner on the way home, and arrive back to school.
Very good. So I just want to say, over the past 4 years, we've really been working with the parents, the students. Every year it is really difficult because they always bring up going on this trip, and it does take a lot of planning, a lot of work. I want to commend Mrs. Bogard and our 7th grade students for really jumping in on this and being able to put this together, because it really is a lot of work, and I think this would be a great experience for our students, and I'm really happy and proud of the work that's been done to be able to offer this. So thank you. And if there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer.
Any comments, questions? Travis, you want to start off?
I've got a comment. I just wanted to point out that going over this over the last week, I really like how detailed your itinerary is. I know it's probably going to change between now and then a little bit, but if it's something close to what you've shown us, I think it's great for the students and parents, both easy to follow. And I wanted to point out a couple positives I noticed was the late night security that's provided at the hotels. I think that's very important. I think that's a great thing. And I also noticed that even the buses are going to go through a pre-trip inspection at our bus garage before they go out. It seems like a lot of thought has been put into this, and I'm excited to see the 8th grade trip to come back as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Linda?
I just wanted to make a comment too, because in the past it wasn't every student attending, and I really think that's great, because it's a wonderful opportunity across the board for all of them.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
You may not have the number, but how many 8th graders could possibly go if everyone was able to fundraise enough?
So it could be the whole class if
possibly.
everyone wanted to go. And the fundraising was there, and all the stipulations were there, because obviously there will be some. But yeah, it's open to the whole class.
How many is that? Do you know how many students it is? I don't remember how big the class is.
Not that much. I think it's 75.
Oh, okay.
Around 75 students, give or take, in this current class.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
John, Casey, you want to weigh in?
I'm 100% for it. In past history, some of the things that were very in the kids' minds when they came back, and 10 years afterward, 20 years afterward, were what they did on special occasions like this. I think there's more education that goes on in the total for this kind of planning and organization, and then doing it. It's a great thing. It's really good.
Thank you.
I'm very excited. So for these kids, we, having been a teacher, being able to go on this trip with kids in a previous district, it really does allow, especially at the 8th grade level, that learning to come alive. And it's really just a wonderful, memorable experience for them to get to Washington, D.C. and see all that they've learned, especially across 7th and 8th grade. It really does come to life. So good job.
Thank you.
Marcus?
Yeah, I'll say, having missed out on it post-COVID, I think it'd be great to bring it back, because I was looking forward to that. Something that everybody talked about, even as early as like 5th and 6th grade. People were already saying, "Oh, I can't wait till we get our New York City honors trip.
Yeah.
I personally would prefer DC because I think the educational experience there is really valuable as well, because I've been there a few times and there's so many incredible places to see.
Yes.
And I think it'll make, like, history classes and like anything involving like government studies in 7th and 8th grade that much more interesting, knowing that you'll be able to go and see these places.
Yes, thank you.
To our young ladies, I just want to commend you. It takes a lot of intrinsic motivation and to stand in front of a group like this and present and speak on your classmates' behalf. You really should be proud of yourselves. We're very proud of you. And the fact that you're going to, serve chicken barbecue dinners to the community. I've never seen anyone turn away from a good chicken barbecue. And, I know at least 1 or 2 vehicles in the district office parking lot that could use a wash. So we'll make sure we get over there this summer. But good job and congratulations on being able to present something at such a young age. I could never do it when I was in your shoes.
Yes, thank you. I'm totally for this. I just think going to Washington is educational. It's pride in our nation, and I think doing it at the 8th grade level is a great time to do it. In my school days, we did it as a senior trip, but I think it's much more beneficial as an 8th grade trip, and what you will get out of it and how it will contribute to your high school experience as well. I would have one hope, and that hope would be that you will be able to raise enough money that no student has to make up their own input. I think that way it's equitable, and everybody has that chance, and that's very important. The board here has worked very hard to make sure that equity for all students is there in our district. And I would really like to see that happen for this trip, so that it's not an issue of somebody can't go because they can't afford the input. And I also did a little brainstorming on some ideas for raising some money, which I'll share with you at another time. But, I think the community, I really think the community will be right behind this.
Yes, thank you.
So we've just got to tap them.
Yeah.
So I have some thoughts on how to do that.
Great, that sounds great. But it's one thing we know that our students deserve this, so we're really happy.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We come now to the time of our board meeting for public access. Tina, has anyone asked to speak to the board tonight?
There's no one.
No one?
No one.
All right, thank you. We move on then to reports and correspondence. First of all, the board liaisons to the buildings. Casey, do you have anything to report from the elementary?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so elementary school updates. Their Memorial Day Parade and Assembly will take place on Thursday, May 21st. They will host a veterans breakfast at 9 a.m. The student and veteran parade will begin around 10, and the assembly will immediately follow at the Rosetown office. Students will participate in the assembly. The elementary choir will perform at the assembly, as well as the high school band. The Festival of the Arts is on Thursday, May 28th. All elementary students will participate in grade level performances for their families with a special performance by the band. And they will end the month of May with their Cubby Club celebration on Friday, May 29th. Students will be recognized with awards in math, reading, special subjects, and for being adaptable.
Thank you. Principals, I have in my calendar that the 21st was a Founder's Day program at the elementary. Do I have that mixed up with the middle school? So the middle school is on, Founder's Day is on the 21st?
Yes, the middle school.
Okay, I'll change that then. Thank you. All right. I'm very happy that you are continuing with your Memorial Day parade and program. I think it's of great benefit to our students and community.
You also should know that Mrs. Collier is the one that started that 100 years ago, but she did start it.
Well, yes, it was. At least 100. Leslie, do you have anything to report from the middle school?
I do have a few things. And just because you're all staring at me, this was from a softball bat. The perils of coaching U12 softball. She didn't swing it, it just happened to get me, so I'm okay. It looks worse than it was. But the middle school has been busy with lots of testing, and I think they're all excited that it's finally complete. I had a very surprising report from one of my children that she liked it, that she enjoyed the testing. So you did something right with that. It was fun. They also have a middle school concert coming up and a Festival of the Arts next week on the 14th. So band and choir and lots of artwork to share with the community. And I think that was it. Testing was a big focus, so I'm sure a big sigh of relief now that they get to be done with that.
Thank you. Travis, do you have something from the high school?
I do. I'm going to call it the fun of May. The high school celebrated its first ever multicultural week from May 4th through the 8th. That's going on this week, actually, highlighting cultures from around the world through themed activities, music, games, dances, trivia, spirit days, and interactive student experiences. Ms. Sinclair would like to give a thank you to Rita Lopez for coordinating the multicultural food options throughout the week, and to the many students and staff members who helped make this event a success. Our Decision Day celebration will be held on Thursday, May 21st. This is where we will recognize the class of 2026 and celebrate their post-graduation plans. And the high school students are also busy preparing for spring concert on May 20th. And we will end the month with the junior senior ball on May 30th. Thank you.
Marcus, would you like to weigh in on the high school right now, as long as we're on high school?
Yeah, I mean, sports are continuing, and actually it's kind of crazy. Some of them are wrapping up in the next like 2 weeks or so. It's a really quick season, it feels like. The multicultural week is fun. Getting to try the different food options at lunch is a highlight for most people. It's what everybody wants to do. Tickets are on sale for the prom right now, and so everything with that is kind of being finalized and set. Also, this isn't for the high school at large yet, but Lily, myself, and Miss Sinclair, as well as Miss Wiktorowicz, had a meeting yesterday with a representative from Thought Exchange, which is a company that kind of helps put surveys together, and we've been talking about trying to make one of those happen. And so we kind of finalized that yesterday and put one together that we should hopefully be getting out to the students, mostly because we've been trying to get more input from the student body through Lily and I, but the email that we set up hasn't been getting a whole lot of traction, and so we kind of just want to get a little bit of data about how the students feel about their experience at the high school and kind of what they want to see happen or what they think is going well. So we should hopefully be getting that out soon.
Great. There any senioritis going on in the high school? Anything we should be warned about? Not yet, huh?
Just a lot of tardies.
Yeah. Once it gets warm out and you get outside, it seems to perpetuate that. Great. John, do you have anything to report from Cougar Ops?
I have some very impressive numbers. Thank you, Mark. In the hub, which is the 9th and 10th graders, we have 42 students. who have been served, and they're doing self-regulation now. They're stressing that concept that supports executive functioning. In the tutoring center, they've served 48 students from Bloomfield, Marion, Red Creek, Sodus, and Williamson schools, which I think is really impressive. In credit recovery, 77 quarters worth of learning credits have been accomplished, and graduation is coming, so they're going to be working very, very hard now to push that over to get everyone successful. Well done.
Yes, indeed. Linda, do you have anything to report from Fork County Board of Directors and the Legislative Committee, which you represent us there?
Yeah, I do. From Fork County, we've spoken about it before, but on May 15th is the meeting at Club 86, and Regent Adrian Hale will be there as a speaker. And there's no charge. It's being supported by businesses and so on, so there's no charge for meals. You can attend, so register and go.
Yes.
And the Fork County Legislative Committee was scheduled to meet on Saturday, but that has been canceled because the group that was going to be connecting with us was unable to do that. But one thing I do want to say in reference to electric vehicle mandate is that it's looking at this point from everyone that knows more about it than me, that the date that was originally, or that is in place now, is probably not going to happen, and there probably is a possibility of some other things that might be helpful to rural districts. We'll see how that develops. Fingers crossed.
That's at the state level.
That's at the state level, yes. Yeah, there's not much we're not aware of at the federal level, but there might be more.
All right. The District Safety Committee, Travis, you have that, and the audit, either of those?
Got nothing for audit at this time, but I do have something for district safety.
Okay.
District safety met on April 15th. The protocols of field trips, parades, assemblies, after-school activities, on-campus visitors, and off-campus chaperones were discussed. As always, all construction employees, vendors, visitors that are on campus must go through our district security checks and given badges to be visibly worn while doing work while visiting. Each building department then gave an update. Some things discussed included the elementary school's unplanned evacuation that happened on April 6th. It was due to a faulty fire alarm. Now, although I know it was unplanned, it was reported that the evacuation went very well, and it seemed to be a good test for everybody involved. I think that, even though it was unplanned, I think those are probably your best tests. And the middle school reviewed the safety protocols that allow students to go outside for lunch. And I remember when I was in middle school, that was such a highlight, the weather getting good again. So, our next meeting's scheduled for May 20th.
Good. Linda, anything on the handbook?
Probably not till next fall.
Okay. Our Tina Communications?
We're up to date. We're still working with Amanda.
Great, great. John, anything with personnel or negotiations? No. Leslie, anything for policy?
Not at this time, no.
Okay. And Marcus, we've already talked with you. Anything you want to add?
Just that Lily and I will be attending the Club 86 meeting,
Great.
and also kind of not necessarily presenting, but they're going to be asking us some questions just about our experience on the board as student board reps.
Yes, that'll be a nice evening, honoring those of you who have been on these boards and contributed and given us your time. So we look forward to that. We come now to the consent agenda. A motion, please, to approve the consent agenda. Travis and John, any discussion, questions? All right, then that goes over to, all the way over to page 3. Hearing none, all in favor of approving the consent agenda? A motion is carried. Board member requests, comments, and discussion. Does anyone have something they want to bring up? All right, well, I have a few things. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Pullen and all who worked on the newsletter, the budget newsletter. That's very well done, I thought, and very informative. So thank you for that. I'm passing out to you a letter that I wrote on behalf of the board. We had talked at one time at a meeting with the BOCES president and interim superintendent about the process. And I wrote this on behalf of our board to make sure that as they do their superintendent search for a new superintendent of BOCES area, that schools like us, our rural concerns and problems will be remembered and hopefully addressed, with the goal of hoping that they hire a superintendent who is tuned in to the needs and problems of rural schools and rural districts. So I wanted you to have a copy of that, and that's just for your information. And last, tonight is Casey's last night with us on the board. This is our last meeting before the election. And Casey, we so appreciate you coming on and being here. And we have a little plaque we'd like to give you. I'll read this. North Rose-Wolcott Board of Education. Board of Education member Casey DeWispalier, 2025 through 2026. In recognition of your dedication to honoring the commitment of your mother, Shelley Cahoon, to the students, staff, and community of North Rose-Wolcott Central School District. And so we want to present this to you. And we thank you so much.
I thank you. I thought long and hard about continuing this. I was very proud to finish my mom's seat. But life is busy right now. And I really am not, I love doing this. I miss being at school. This has been a great way to stay connected, but my kids are still keeping me very busy. Evan will be off going to St. John Fisher. He'll be playing soccer there. I'm just not ready to miss all of those events of theirs yet. And this will pull this, I feel like I can't always put in all of the time that's needed for this, but I'm very grateful for the time that I've had to work with this wonderful board, and they are doing great things for our district. And our district is just in a wonderful place, and it's comforting to know that we're it's just moving in the direction it should. So you should be proud of the work you've done. So thank you.
Well, thank you too, Casey. All right. At this time, Mr. Pullen has a presentation to make as well.
So I just want to kind of close our meeting with some meaningful positive changes that have taken place. So honestly, really appreciate the board and the direction that we've taken over the last 6 years. And I want to open up with our collaborative classroom, the research-based brief that just went out nationally. And they're highlighting North Rose-Wolcott Elementary. So I want to point out to the group that this is the science of reading. You know, you heard the initiative coming from the governor's office a few years ago, and how much of an emphasis that was across the state. This is something that we've been doing since 2020, and one of the things that I'm really particularly proud of is that when you start to look at our district demographics being highlighted nationally, and they're starting to use our data as a platform, and they talk about our teams within teams model, and they talk about the average growth, and you think about SIPs, which is the systematic instruction for phonological awareness and sight words, and then you start thinking about the oral reading fluency. As somebody who struggled to read growing up, I can tell you, you know, the phonemic awareness and phonics are such a critically important piece when it comes to building words and being able to read words fluently. Our children are absolutely crushing it, and our staff should be extremely proud of what's happening. And I think that when we talk about some of these things, if you get a chance to read this brief, which is on our website, I think you'll be pretty proud of the work we've put in and the highlights that they're talking about. And I really think about this stuff here. A key factor in the success was the seamless integration of the programs, and Mrs. Hake and her team are continuing that, so they should be really proud of that. We talk about our work with MTSS and how much of a focal point that's been for the last several years. And then when we talk about the percentage gains, it's not always about paper and pen or now computer-based testing. It's really what we're doing in the classroom. And are we preparing critical thinkers who are literate problem solvers for real-world activities? So I think that that's something, you know, we should be very proud of. And when you think about this, 169% increase for students in grades 2 through 4 and the number of meaningful gains that they've had. You know, for our particular purposes, this 4th grade class, we've been watching because they've had consistent curriculum maps. They've had consistent instruction in ELA. They've had continuation of protocols 5 days a week since they were in preschool. They reference a few of our teachers. They talk about the trends. I think that there's a lot to be said there. And then really what I would say is this last piece is something the board should be very proud of as a community. It's the experience highlighting the powerful message of sustained investment in structured research-based literacy instruction. And it's so easy to succumb to, you know, performance issues. It's easy to succumb to pressure when, you know, you're not necessarily seeing the academic gains, but we stayed the course. We continue to invest in what we're doing. It's research-based, and it's paying off for critical thinkers who are readers, writers, and problem solvers. And it's not just in the elementary. That work will continue over. So that's one highlight. The second highlight is we referenced Mrs. Lopez earlier, and I want to tell you, you know, if there's a avenue to pursue that will make it more equitable for our students to have access. You know, we're a community eligibility program, and over the last 6 years, I can speak to how much we've tried to make sure our students have access to meals throughout the week during the summer program, whether it was setting up posts at the elementary, setting up posts at Leavenworth, setting up posts here, whether it was delivering meals. We've run into different problems. So Rita, a credit to her, went to a conference. She saw a grant opportunity. She pursued the grant opportunity. And I'm pleased to say publicly that we've been working on this for the last month and a half, 2 months. We're the first school district in New York State to pilot a program where our school meals will be provided to our students and our families throughout summer through Amazon delivery services, which to me, I don't know about you, but Amazon seems to be in the neighborhood or going up and down the street every day. And that's really something. So I would encourage our families to continue to get out and sign up. You know, if you have issues, reach out to the school, reach out to Rita directly, and then kind of work on that. The last 2 bullet points are really highlighting some of the work we've put into over the last few years through our DSIP and our SCEP plans for our targeted population. You remember 2 years ago, our ELL population was flagged as we weren't making enough growth. Part of that was due to our ELL population in the middle school not being broad enough, meaning the number-wise, to really get an accurate read, so it counted twice against us. The DSIP team, which comprised of staff, students, parent liaison, administrators, and outside supports, really worked hard to target and be more effective with working with families outside of school and making sure our materials were more user-friendly. We were accessing more parents, and that team has done a great job. So we've come off that targeted support status, and now we're going to local support and improvement. So again, you know, so many people to compliment for that work. They're just really making the gains in the areas that we said we would. So local support means basically, you know, the district monitors our own progress, and you know we've been working with Ali Breva to kind of work on our comprehensive plans and measuring it more specifically. And then lastly, I want to target Miss Eaton and the work she's been able to do over the last 2 years. In special ed in 24-25, we were flagged with respect to a compliance assurance plan by the Office of Special Ed for State Ed. There were practices that weren't being followed previously. So Chelsea, you know, this is her second year. She's come in and really worked hard to corral some of the processes that were missing previously and making sure that when students are suspended, specifically students with disabilities, that we're complying with protocols and practices to ensure their rights are being followed and their needs are being met. So she's really done a wonderful job of targeting that improvement and corralling something that she wasn't involved in the year before when we were identified. So many nights, late nights, you know, many phone calls, really working on that. So we got notification last week. We've been removed from the list, which is a very good sign, you know, especially when it comes down to making sure all the buildings are working on their restorative practices, which they are, making sure that when a manifestation conversation needs to occur, whether a child's acting out based on their disability or that their needs are being met, that's been addressed. And that we're really doing a nice job in that last bullet point of making sure our secondary transition, that we're following plans to make sure there's a continuation of success. So she's really done a fantastic job the last 2 years corralling something that she inherited, and her and her team and Megan and her work, they've really done a very nice job. So, you know, to piggyback off of what Casey was saying about a lot of the work that we're doing, I will stand here and say I'm very proud to represent our district. I'm very proud of the work we've put in. And I will say this clearly, I'm not driven by test as the only measure. It's not paper and pen. The standardized testing might work for some students. It might not, and that's not being facetious. That's telling you that we've run into computer-based issues. The test itself has run into some issues with the state, so we've had to notify the Regional Instructional Council to say the test and the computer's actually been janky a little bit, so we're waiting to hear how the state will adjust for that. And also to say, when our students are out in the community and where they're presenting to people in public, I have yet to hear one person say, "What did you get on the ELA fourth grade assessment?" But I always can tell you, we always get feedback when they hold the door and they say hello to somebody or when they're polite. So we're very proud of that stuff. And again, there are positive, meaningful changes taking place. So just wanted to close with that and say thank you to the board.
Well, thank you, and congratulations to all of you out there, administrators and teachers and aides and everybody who works with our kids. That's just phenomenal. You know, Mr. Pullen, when you were hired, you were given the task of putting us back in line academically, and there were a lot of concerns and problems that were laid on your plate. And you said at that time it would take 5 years to really make the progress that we were looking for. And it's been 5 years, and here we are. And I want to say thank you for your leadership and your insight and your vast knowledge of what we needed. So thank you as well.
Thank you.
And I think that probably is all the good news we need tonight. John?
I had two from Facebook. First of all, the 7th and 8th grade choir for the middle school sang at the ESL Stadium before a Red Wings game. They were really good, I thought. And secondly, the tribute to the staff from the 3 levels, I thought was just super genius. I mean, it's stuff that is so simple to do, handing a piece of paper, you're the most kind teacher, you're the most happy, you're on and on. And the teachers reciprocated so nicely. It was just warm to see it. If I were a parent, I would think, boy, those teachers are really well done. You know, the kids are the final judge. They know. So I think it was really great that our district was highlighted that way.
Great, thank you. Yeah. I need a motion at this time to go into executive session to discuss the employment history of an employee. Motion, please. Linda, Leslie. Any discussion? All in favor? Thank you. We will be going into executive session, and that will complete our meeting. When we come out, we will not be doing any further business. So you're welcome to stay if you want, just to see us adjourn. But otherwise, we bid you good night.